you imagine a 17-year-old that's smarter than a 40-year-old? That was me. My 17-year-old self was smarter than my 40-year-old self. Neither were Mensa candidates, I admit, but it's interesting, and here's the story as to why. At age 17, I decided to spend my summers at the family cottage. Life was good. But I decided it was important to have a job. My third job, working for a construction company this time. My job at that construction company on day one was to carry 12-foot sheets of drywall from a barge up a steep incline to the construction site. After 3 hours of this backbreaking labor, I had the good common sense to say, I'm leaving, and I'm not coming back. I got in my boat, drove away, and I didn't even collect my $15 in wages. A few years later, I graduated college and got my first office job. And I was so proud. I got up in the morning, I put on a tie and a jacket, I got in my leased car, drove in 40 minutes of traffic to get to my job where I sat in a cubicle to do nothing for 40 hours a week for meager pay, 2 weeks vacation, and no pension. Around that time, a friend of mine named Tanya invited me to her house. She called me and she said, Reid, I'm having a little business party on Thursday, and I think you'd be fantastic for this business. I'd really like you to come. Could you do that for me? I said, Tanya, I'd be happy to. When I arrived, there was a group of people, and we sat down and listened to a presentation. An excited young man that looked a lot like Tim's got up and explained how Amway was going to change my life. It was going to provide me freedom, self-determination, and affluence. Being a good friend, full of bravado and not too much common courtesy, I took my friend Tanya aside and I said, Tanya, I really think you should get out of this before you ruin your relationships. And that was not the last of attempts to get me into network marketing. Over the next 20 years, people attempted all the time. But for each one, I said, no, I'm okay with my 40-hour-a-week job. When I became 40 years old, I was still doing the same thing, trading my time for money. Get up in the morning, sit in traffic on I-4, go to my 40-hour-a-week job for meager pay, a couple of weeks vacation, no pension. I started to look at my income and my expenses and my savings to forecast my future retirement. And the image I had in my head was a trailer park, possibly with me scrounging for aluminum cans to sell to the recycling depot, potentially even going through people's trash to find things to sell on Craigslist. I decided that wasn't the future I wanted for myself. It was time to make a change. I did what any rational person would do when you need money. I started flipping houses. In the next 18 months, I flipped 5 houses, and I made some money. But you know what I learned? There are a million ways to make money in real estate, and you can lose your money those same million ways. Now, fortunately, I didn't lose any money. I made a little, but I discovered there was so much risk in what I was doing. And I don't want any more risk. With every deal, I was risking all my capital. And I discovered that the market is a very fickle beast that you and I, the little consumers, have no control over. What I really want is a business that gives me unlimited earning potential, no risk, and the potential to change other people's lives. So I find it ironic looking back that now I'm banking my retirement on network marketing. My wife and I are excelling at it after only a few months, and I think it's going to, within a year, give us the keys to get the keys to get us out of our 40-hour-a-week prison cells. You hate it when this happens, right? Just can't remember what is that next thought. The 40-hour-a-week prison cell, I don't want to be like that anymore. You know what? I need a job that's going to give me the opportunity to grow other people. I think I'm going to need my notes.
Sorry.
20 years, I turned up my nose at network marketing. For 20 years, I said things like, that's not for me. That's not a real business. Those things never work out. Only the people at the top make real money. And most importantly, I'm not a good salesman, which is true. I don't know enough people. These are the kinds of rebuttals I made. But you know what I found is that network marketing is a real business. It's just a different kind of business. I essentially have a low-cost franchise with no risk, no inventory. And I discovered also that it's a model for the future. I don't know if you got the memo, but retail is dead. It would have appeared at your doorstep this morning in the form of an Amazon Prime package. If you're much like my wife, those packages arrive every day. Have you heard of Generation Z? This is the people that were born after the year 1995. They don't buy for retail. They don't go to locations and buy things. They don't even use computers. They get out their cell phone and buy things on the Amazon app, pretty much. That's exclusively where they buy. In my dim view of the future, there is no more retail. Just Amazon fulfillment centers across the country. And there aren't any employees in those fulfillment centers. Just robots fulfilling packages. Another box of shoes for Reid's wife. I think that the only viable alternative to this future is one where people sell to people. It's a great model because you cut out all the middlemen, the wholesalers, the warehousers, and the retailers, the giant marketing budgets that make up a big portion of a cost of any product to you and I. In this scenario, everyone wins, and the future goes from dim to bright. So why don't you join me in selling people to people? Thank you very much.